What's up guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, so please subscribe my YouTube channel. Today I will telling about 10 pence coin from Australia. Elizabeth, 1976. Coins are more than just pieces of metal. They are historical markers, physical reminders of economic systems, political leadership, national identity, and cultural values. One such coin, the 10 pence coin bearing the image of Queen Elizabeth II, tells a rich story when viewed through the lens of Australia in 1976 and beyond. This script will explore the background of the 10 pence coin, its significance in Australia, and its evolution, including the context of currency, colonial legacy, and Australia's growing national identity during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Before 1966, Australia used a currency system based on the British imperial system: pounds, shillings, and pence. The currency was a direct reflection of Australia's British colonial heritage. The pound was divided into 20 shillings, and each shilling into 12 pence, making 240 pence in a pound. This complex system was not intuitive for everyday calculations. As Australia became more economically independent and looked to the future, the need for a decimal system became more apparent. The Decimal Revolution 1966. On February 14, 1966, Australia adopted decimal currency. The Australian pound was replaced by the Australian dollar, and coins were introduced in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50 cents. This was one of the most significant monetary reforms in the country's history. The 10 pence coin from the imperial system was essentially replaced by the 10-cent coin under the new system. However, the cultural memory and terminology sometimes lingered, with older Australians continuing to use the term 10 pence, or a bob, informally for a time. Since her ascension to the throne in 1952, Queen Elizabeth II's image has appeared on all Australian coins. These portraits have evolved over time to reflect her age and different artistic interpretations. By 1976, the version of the Queen's portrait used on coins was designed by Arnold Machin, a sculptor whose effigy showed a young queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Machin's portrait was used from 1966 to 1984 on Australian coins. This image became iconic during the mid-20th century, symbolizing not only continuity and tradition but also the constitutional monarchy's connection to the Commonwealth. Symbolism of the monarch on currency. Queen Elizabeth II's presence on Australian coins served multiple purposes. The monarchy represented a link to Australia's British past and political stability. The Queen was, and remains, Australia's head of state. Tradition. Her image connected the modern Australian state to centuries of coinage tradition in Britain. The Australian 10-cent coin, introduced in 1966, was made from cupro-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, and had a mass of 5.65 grams and a diameter of 23.6 millimeters. The reverse of the coin featured an image of the superb lyrebird, a native Australian bird known for its extraordinary ability to mimic natural and artificial sounds. This design was created by Stuart Devlin, an Australian goldsmith and designer who crafted many of the original decimal coin designs. By contrast, the British 10 pence coin still existed in the UK and continued evolving independently, though some Australians mistakenly refer to their 10-cent coin as a 10 pence, due to habit. In 1976, the Royal Australian Mint produced millions of 10-cent coins. These coins bore the Arnold Machin portrait of the Queen on the obverse and the lyrebird on the reverse. There were no significant design changes that year, but the context of 1976 in Australia adds historical flavor. The country was still adjusting to rapid social and political change, including the aftermath of the 1975 constitutional crisis that saw the dismissal of Prime Minister Gough Whitlam by the Governor-General, a move that highlighted the Queen's residual power in Australian politics. The 1970s were a transformative decade for Australia. The country was redefining its identity, moving from a British colonial past toward a multicultural, independent future. Economically, the decade was marked by inflation and a growing need to diversify beyond traditional industries like agriculture and mining. Culturally, there was a strong push for the arts, Indigenous rights, and environmental awareness. All of these factors contributed to a growing national identity distinct from Britain. In this climate, the Queen's continued presence on coins was sometimes questioned but remained largely accepted due to the constitutional status quo. Between 1976 and 2000, the Australian 10-cent coin remained largely unchanged in design, though updates to the Queen's portrait occurred. 1985. The Machin portrait was replaced by one from Raphael Machin, which showed a more mature Queen with a royal diadem. 1999. A portrait by FRANC broadly was introduced, offering a more realistic and aged depiction of Queen Elizabeth II. These updates reflected both the aging monarch and changing attitudes toward realism in royal portrait. The 10-cent coin has not featured commemorative reverses, but collectors value particular mint years. While the 1976 coin is not rare, it is sought after in uncirculated or proof condition. Over time, Australian coin collectors, called numismatists, have developed a keen interest in coin errors, low mintage years, and special issues. The 10-cent coin is often included in yearly mint sets. The 1999 referendum. By the late 1990s, Australia was actively debating its constitutional future. The 1999 Republic referendum asked Australians whether the country should become a republic, replacing the Queen and Governor-General with a president appointed by Parliament. The proposal was narrowly defeated, meaning Queen Elizabeth II remained the head of state, and her image continued to appear on coins. This period reaffirmed the deep ties between currency, identity, and national sentiment, symbolism in the new millennium. By the year 2000, Australia had embraced the global millennium moment with celebrations and national pride. Despite growing multiculturalism and republican sentiment, the monarchy remained in place. The 10-cent coin minted in 2000 featured the FRANC broadly portrait and the familiar lyrebird design. It remained a quiet symbol of Australia's hybrid identity, modern, sovereign, yet historically linked to the British Crown. Coin in circulation and use in daily life, the 10-cent coin retained its practical function, used for small transactions, payphones, vending machines, and public transport. Despite inflation, it remained part of the coin set in circulation, unlike the 1 and 2 cent coins, which were withdrawn in the early 1990s. The legacy of the 10 pence coin in Australia. Though Australia no longer uses pence, and the coin in question is formally known as the 10-cent piece, its story is deeply tied to the idea of a 10-pence coin. From colonial currency to decimalization, from 1976's minting under Queen Elizabeth II to the Republican debates of 1999, the 10-cent coin has silently witnessed vast national changes. It carries more than just monetary value. It is a marker of Australia's political evolution, its enduring monarchy, and the tension between tradition and change. Even today, holding a 1976 10-cent coin is like holding a miniature time capsule, engraved with the past, still circulating in the present, and echoing questions about the future. Welcome to our deep dive into the story of one of the lesser-known but intriguing coins in numismatic history, the 1976 10-pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, issued in Australia. Today, we'll uncover the coin's origin, design, historical significance, mintage, variations, errors, and its current value in the collector's market. So, whether you're a numismatist, historian, or simply curious, this journey will offer insight into more than just a piece of metal. It's a window into history. Let's begin by clarifying something important. Many people search for a reference, a 1976 10-pence coin from Australia. However, Australia does not use the pence denomination. Since 1966, Australia has had a decimal currency system, and the coins are denominated in cents, not pence. So, the correct term would be a 1976 10-cent coin from Australia. 10 pence coin is from the United Kingdom and other Commonwealth countries that still used or referenced British-style denominations at that time. So when people say, 10 pence Elizabeth II 1976 Australia, it's likely a mix-up between UK and Australian coinage. To be absolutely clear, there is no 10 pence coin issued by Australia in 1976. There is a 10-cent coin issued that year, and it features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. And that's what we're focusing on in this documentary, the 1976 Australian 10-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. The year 1976 was an important time for Australia. It was the height of the post-Whitlam era, with Malcolm Fraser having assumed office in late 1975. Australia was going through political stabilization, modernization of its economy, and increasing global trade connections. In the background of these historical changes, everyday Australians carried coins that symbolized national identity and continuity. one of which was the 10-cent coin bearing the image of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin reflected not just monetary value, but Australia's colonial ties, its journey toward independence, and its continued connection to the British monarchy. Let's now explore the design of the 1976 10-cent coin. The obverse features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was introduced in 1966 and used until 1984. In this depiction, the Queen wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift from her grandmother, Queen Mary, around her head. The text reads, Elizabeth II, Australia 1976. Arnold Machin's portrait is elegant, refined, and widely respected among numismatists for its realism and regularity. The reverse of the coin was designed by Stuart Devlin, Australia's official gold and silversmith at the time. It features a beautiful and stylized male superb lyrebird Menura novaehollandiae. This bird is famous for its remarkable tail and mimicry skills. Symbolizes Australian wildlife's uniqueness and natural beauty. The numeral 10 appears prominently, with no additional text. Devlin's design is not only artistically acclaimed but also deeply tied to Australia's identity, connecting flora, fauna, and national pride. 1976 10-cent coin is not particularly rare, but it is still collected due to its age and historical context. 75% copper, 25% nickel cupronickel. Diameter: 23.60 mm. Thickness: 2.00 mm. Weight: 5.65 grams. Edge: milled reeded. Approximately 80.1 million 10-cent coins were struck in 1976 at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. Because of its high mintage, the coin is still relatively common in circulated condition, but uncirculated or high-grade versions are of more interest to collectors. In the numismatic world, the value of a coin depends heavily on grade, rarity, demand, and historical context. Here's how grading breaks down for this coin. Circulated coins VFEF. These coins show signs of wear and are worth only face value or slightly more, typically 20 cents to $1 AUD. These are coins that never entered circulation and retain their original luster. They can range from $2 to $10 AUD, depending on condition. These can command higher prices, ranging from $10 to $50 AUD or more, particularly if certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC. 1976 10-cent coin is not considered rare, but finding it in mint state MS66 or higher is increasingly difficult, which drives up value among dedicated collectors. Not many error coins are widely documented for the 1976 10-cent coin. Some collectors have reported the following: clipped planchettes, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a miscut blank; off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned; cuds or die cracks, raised blobs or lines caused by die breaks. These error coins can significantly increase a coin's value. For example, a clipped planchette coin in decent condition might fetch $20 to $100 AUD. An off-center strike with at least 10 to 15% displacement can be worth $50 plus depending on severity and eye appeal. If you suspect you have an error coin, consider submitting it to a professional grading service for verification. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and always look closely. You never know what treasures you might hold in your hand. Next coin, 1 France coin. Liberty.egalite.fraternite 1960. Coins are silent witnesses of history. With every scratch, every worn-out edge, and every faded inscription, they whisper stories of the eras they have passed through. Among these time-honored artifacts stands the 1 franc coin of France, minted in 1960, a modest, everyday currency piece that holds much more than its face value. It speaks of post-war Europe, of a nation in recovery, and of the changing tides of global economics. In this comprehensive script, we will delve into the story behind the 1 franc coin from 1960. We'll explore its design, historical context, composition, circulation, and current value, both in terms of money and heritage. Whether you're a budding coin collector, a seasoned numismatist, or simply someone fascinated by history, this journey through the life of a small silver-colored coin will offer rich insight into France's past and the enduring legacy of its corenity. To truly appreciate the 1961 franc coin, one must understand the context of France at that time. Post-World War II France was a nation in transition. The war had left the country economically devastated and politically fractured. In the immediate aftermath, the French Fourth Republic 1946–1958 struggled with instability, leading to the eventual formation of the Fifth Republic under Charles de Gaulle in 1958. One of the pressing needs of the new republic was economic stabilization. France had suffered from high inflation in the 1940s and early 1950s, which eroded the value of the franc. As part of the economic reforms, a new currency system was introduced in 1960, the nouveau franc, or new franc. This reform was crucial, as it replaced 100 old francs with one new franc, simplifying transactions and restoring confidence in the currency. The 1 franc coin minted in 1960 was one of the first coins issued under this new monetary system. Though its face value was 1 franc, in reality, it was equivalent to 100 of the old francs. This transition was a significant moment in French economic history, symbolizing stability and modernization. The design of the 1961 franc coin is rich in symbolism and artistry. It reflects both national pride and classical aesthetics, characteristic of mid-20th century French coinage. The obverse of the coin features the famous figure of La Semuse, the sower, a recurring image in French numismatics. She is depicted in motion, sowing seeds with her right hand while carrying a seed bag on her left. Her figure is draped in classical robes, and she walks with grace and determination toward the rising sun. This powerful image was originally designed by Oscar Rodi in the late 19th century and was revived for modern coins due to its strong association with growth, renewal, and the French Republic. Above her is inscribed, République Française, affirming the coin's national identity. The reverse is more minimalist. It features the denomination, 1 franc, prominently in the center, flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of peace and strength respectively. Beneath it is the year of minting, 1960, and around the edge, the national motto, Liberty.egalite.fraternite, liberty, equality, fraternity. This elegant yet simple design captures both traditional French values and the optimism of a new era. The 1961 franc coin has the following specifications. Material: nickel, a silvery metal known for its durability and resistance to corrosion. Diameter: 24 mm. Weight: 6 grams. Edge: reeded grooved for tactile distinction and anti-counterfeiting purposes. These features made the coin robust for everyday use. Nickel was chosen for its affordability and resilience, making the coin suitable for mass circulation. France's minting quality was always high, and these coins were no exception. The coin has a pleasant metallic sheen and a sharp strike, allowing the details of La Semuse and the olive oak motifs to stand out clearly, especially in uncirculated specimens. The 1 franc coin of 1960 was a key part of France's new currency lineup, intended for daily use in a wide range of transactions. It remained in circulation for several decades and was commonly used for small purchases, such as a baguette, a newspaper, or a metro ticket. In the early 1960s, France minted large quantities of this coin to ensure a smooth currency transition. These coins were not rare during their time and could be found in nearly every French household. However, their use declined as inflation gradually eroded the value of the franc again in the following decades. By the late 1990s, the 1 franc coin held much less purchasing power. In 2002, when France adopted the euro, the franc was officially demonetized. At that point, the 1 franc coin ceased to be legal tender. Still, the 1960 version of the coin holds a special place in collectors' circles due to its historical significance as one of the first issues of the new franc era. Today, the value of a 1961 franc coin extends far beyond its original monetary worth. For collectors, its value depends on several factors. Coins are graded on a scale ranging from poor P to mint state MS. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Circulated condition: most 1961 franc coins were heavily circulated. In fine, or very fine, condition, they typically sell for 50 cents to $2 USD.